Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil and today we are here with Emma McCormick. Some of you may know her from Instagram.
Emma Mac Farming.
So if you want to check her out, you can follow her on Instagram. There'll be a link in the description down below. Anyways, but today's video, as you read by the title, is going to be where dairy bull calves go. A commonly seen thing that on social media and that with a certain crowd do be bashing us farmers about what does happen with them. So we're here to dispel some rumours, some myths, and show you what actually happens here in Ireland. Because we are Irish, we can only really talk about the Irish system of production, so there's no point mentioning anywhere else. And as often is put on social media, all farmers get painted with the one brush, no matter where you are in the world, which isn't the case, because every system, no matter where they are in the world, is always slightly different and tailored to the environment or the climate of the farm. Anyways, so we're going to get Emma's input on what happens with the dairy bull calves from when they're born to now, when we are literally ready to pick them up and bring them on home to our system. So
These are the calves. They're about 2 weeks old, so they're treated exactly the same as the heifer calves here. So you can see they're Frisian crosses, Jersey crosses, and some beef calves in there as well. So when they're born, they get the milk from the cow for the first 4 days. As soon as the cow calves, every hour after she's calved, the colostrum quality is meant to decrease by about 4%. So we milk the cow right away, and then when the milk is still warm, we feed the calf, and regardless of if it's a bull or a heifer, they're fed 3 litres right away, minimum 3 litres. We measure it with a Brix refractometer. So the scale goes from 0 to 30, and it has to be over 22 to be good enough. And if it's not good enough, we'll give it for second feed or third feed, because it still has, all the cows are vaccinated for rotavirus and coronavirus. So it's still very valuable milk. We'll feed it in the second and third feed so that the calves are all covered from scour and rota and crypto and stuff. We want them to be healthy and fit, sell them once they're old enough, or bring them to the mart or whatever. And if they're good calves, they'll sell easily and people will come back looking for them, and we won't have to spend time looking for people. People will just keep coming back for them again next year.
yeah. So we'll get these calves loaded into the trailer and we'll make the trip home, which is about 40 minutes away, so it's actually not too bad. The calves don't have too long to be travelling, but anyways, we better get them in the trailer and bait on home. We're home now with the calves loaded up, so we'll bring them home. We'll let them out into our training pen, and yeah, we'll have a look at them, show you the rest of the calves. Anyways, we'll bait on home. So we are now back on our farm. So we have to set up our training pen now. We run automatic feeders here. We'll talk a bit more about that tomorrow, but we'll just get this done. So to take all these calves out here, just let them down the shed. They have way off down. There's just chicanes in the middle of the shed there just to break any wind. So we have to shut them out, put up 2 gates here. We'll let the new calves out here. So, here is the calves we have picked up this evening. Here they are, they're in our training pen. So now we just have to check the rest of our calves that are in the shed. There's 70 in there. Just got to check to see everyone is happy, healthy and fed. So we'll be looking after these in the morning. We have to put in EID tags so that they'll work with automatic feeders, button tags we call them. We'll show you that process in the morning. But we'll let them settle down there for the night. They've access to fresh water and meal. You can see actually one is eating meal away there, something that just fascinates us, how quick they're going onto that meal. Fresh water as well. And they have a draft excluder thing at the back so you can lie under that. And yeah, the reason we keep them in a relatively small space is for the purpose of training them into the automatic feeder. Because the shed is quite big, we start off in a small space so they get used to coming in and out of the feeder as they want to get their milk. So when they go out into the rest of the shed, which goes way back, that they're well used to coming up, going into the feeder and then going off themselves to play or sleep or whatever they want to do. But anyways, we got to look after them calves, and tomorrow morning we'll go sort them out and we'll finish off this video. So we're here now. It is kind of later on the next day. There's our calves. Myself and my mother. My mother gave me a hand putting the ID tags in, so you can see the little button tag there in his ear, held on by cable tie. The reason we use the cable ties is so we don't have to pierce their ears again to put in another tag. The reason for that is so that every calf is individual, so the our automatic feeder knows every calf, so then that way it's for calf management and for the feeding the calves. And then this red part, that's what registers the tag, so it knows which calves come in and out. So what we have to do now, we have to put them in one at a time and feed them. We'll also go through our other shed and make sure all them are fed all at the... So we are just ready to go now. So this is the list of calves from that end of the shed that have to go in. Most of them are the 1400s. They were the last calves to come in the training pen. They got moved on. That's just one of the things. It can take a couple of days to get them fully trained onto the feeder. We also have to feed all them, so we'll get stuck into it. We'll probably time lapse. So, the calves are just after getting their first feed. The last one's just in the feeder there, doing his thing. So then this is the rest of the calves in the other pen. You can see we have just 3 here with calf jackets on. The calf jacket is just, the calf was a bit colder themselves. So we put a jacket on, keeps them warm, and look at, by right we need to take them off now, but as you can see, calves. The shed is a little bit dark, just with all the bales we have up. As you can see, we have a chicane, so that it kind of breaks any wind that may flow through the shed. And we go below then to the rest of the calves. And again, we just have bales kind of left out, with all the nets taken off the bottom bales that the calves can lie up again. And the calves have literally no end of space. They can lie, they can eat the straw, they can puck the straw, they can literally just run and play everywhere. They really are in the height of comfort in our shed. So they are, and that's what the calves. This is how we run our calves from at the very start when we get them. Big shed, lots of bales of straw, lots of nooks and crannies for them to go lie in and hide in and stay nice and cozy in. That's how we do it. So anyways, I could go off and do some other jobs now, and we'll come back later on, or in a day or so, and we will finish off the video with some facts, myth busting, and some more information on how we run the rest of our system, from these little lads all the way to the bulls, which are literally the other side of them bales of straw in a different shed on their final journey, you could say. So anyways, so now it is Sunday. We're back in with the calves. We've extended their pen. We've taken out all the straw in the hay shed, so they have more space to lie and find a cozy spot to be. Anyways, what we're going to do now is I am going to give a general overview of the dairy beef system here in Ireland. Very, very generalised, just to let you know how it's kind of done here. So as you've seen already, calves come onto the farm when they go and they're put on milk replacer, and they are reared then on the milk. Sometimes then when they come towards the end, when they're being weaned off the milk, farmers will put them out to grass. They'll wean them off in their sheds, but at the end of the day they all will go out to grass come April, May time for any of the spring-born calves. So the calves then spend all their summer out at grass, grazing away on paddocks. Sometimes they get meals, sometimes they don't. Again, it's a farmer's thing whether they do or they don't. They stay out at grass until the grass is gone. From October to November then the calves are brought back inside, because in Ireland it becomes wet and cold and the grass stops growing, so there's no more grass for the calves to feed, so they go back in to be housed. While so there's 2 lines that the bull calves go down. Again, it depends on the farmer. They can go down as go for bull beef or they go for bullock beef or steer beef. And the difference being that steers, or bullocks as they're called here in Ireland, get castrated. And the main method for castration in Ireland is the Burdizo, which is a bloodless method where there's, I don't have it with me, but it's like a clamp, and you clamp it onto the testicles, and it pinches the blood supplies and everything going to the testicles, and they literally just, the testicles shrivel up, die and shrivel up. I have a couple of followers here. When they go back in to be housed then, they're usually fed a silage based feed. Silage, which is grass that's preserved during the summer months, and they're fed that during the winter. Then till it becomes spring, it warms up, the grass starts to grow, the ground dries, and then they're put back out to grass for their second year. So we're here with our own bulls. So the farmer then, after at some stage during the second year of grass, the farmer decides then, depending on their system, when their bulls, which are behind me, go in for finishing. So it could be calculated based on how long the farmer wants to put them on the finishing period or the finishing ration. When we talk about finishing cattle, it's the build up of the feeding of the cattle towards the end goal of going for beef. And predominantly with the bulls, they all go for grain fed, which this is what we have here, which we grow the majority of it ourselves on our farm. But they go towards their finishing. Also, one thing to be kept in mind with the bulls, just to do with the specs and the factories we call them, which is the abattoir, the people that buy the cattle off us to kill them, to cut them up to beef, they have specifications, and when a bull goes over 2 years old, 24 months, they go from being a young bull to an old bull, and that can have up to 60 cents of a price drop when they do that. So predominantly all the bulls are killed before they're 2 years old to avoid that happening. Then when it comes to the bullocks, depending on the farmer's preference or the farmer's system, they either go for, same as the bulls, they'll go in and they'll go on a meal ration to be finished, or what is actually more common is they go back out to grass for a third summer and they're finished off the grass come August, September, October will be towards the end of it. And that's what happens to the dairy bull calves in Ireland that go for a dairy beef system. So, time to tackle the elephant in the room, and probably the reason why I decided to make this video. And it's something that is incredibly rare in Ireland, and I've never come across a farmer that does it. But the whole concept or practice of the bobby calf, if you don't know what a bobby calf is, it's the term given to a dairy bull calf that is slaughtered, killed a few days after being born. And here in Ireland, that is incredibly rare. It's a thing of rumours is all it ever is, and you just never ever hear. It's an incredibly frowned upon thing within the industry. But it is, I can't say that it doesn't happen, but it is incredibly rare, and some countries are worse than others for it. Here in Ireland, I would say that we are quite good for avoiding that at all costs, that the dairy bull calves have worth, as you've seen with what we do, and there's many a farmer is moving into the dairy beef industry. So one of the other avenues for the dairy bull calves is export, live export, which has got a bad rep in recent times. I could do a whole other video on that altogether, but just one of the things when it comes to nearly all farming practices and all forms of farming is when you break it down to what it really is, the live exports, the person exporting them calves, the lorry driver, the boat, whatever, they're only going to get paid for the calves that arrive where they're going to alive, and I can't imagine they're going to get paid for calves that arrive sick. So it doesn't make any sense to me when people claim that they're mistreated, they're abused, they're all these things, and mortality rates are way high and all this old crack, because at the end of the day, the exporter's job is to get the calf from Ireland to, for example, the Netherlands and Spain. They're two big areas, two of our biggest exporters for dairy bull calves, to get them alive and well. otherwise they're not going to get paid. So then the other thing with the live exports, the vast majority of all the dairy bull calves are exported. They go into veal systems, and veal systems, I'm assuming most people will know, is calf meat. Veal is calf meat. It's when the calves are brought to about 6 months of age and then killed for their meat. I'm not a veal farmer, and it's not right for me to talk about it because I don't know. But in my mind, anything other than all other avenues than a bobby calf is acceptable in my mind. Giving the animal a purpose in its life, even if it is only 6 months, I think it's far better than putting them into a bobby, turning them to a bobby calf.
I think there's a myth that when you separate the cow from the calf, it's a huge trauma to both animals, whereas like you can see from the calves like how content they are. They don't want for anything here. And with the cow, like sometimes we leave the calf, like I said, to be licked off, and oftentimes like the cow is just not bothered about the calf. She'll get up and she'll go and eat she'll go and eat silage, and she's not concerned about the calf, and sometimes they don't lick them off at all. And I suppose if the cow was stressed from the separation from her calf, you'd see that result right away from the tank. In the tank of milk, I suppose anybody that's farming all the time will know that any big stress to animals, you'll see it in their behaviour, in their condition, and especially with dairy cows, if there's any big change or stress to their daily routine, they're such creatures of habit. If they're stressed out at all, like you'll see they'll drop in milk. Like if you have a sick cow, like you'll notice her when you're milking that she's only given half the yield that she gave yesterday. In the farm here, like with a team of people working here, you know, the cows need to perform to pay for everything, and I suppose if they were stressed out they wouldn't be performing, their milk quality would be poor, the cell count would be high, and we wouldn't have such a high quality product to sell, whereas we do. And I suppose the fact that the farm is running so well is the result of the cows being happy. It probably does sound cliche that happy cows produce quality milk, but I think they are simple creatures, and if they're happy and fed and well looked after, then they do produce quality milk all year long.
Emma made some great points there about the myths associated with the dairy bull calf and how they're perceived to have no value, which isn't the case. The perception is out there in the social medias that the dairy bull calf is a worthless animal and is mistreated and abused because of such. But the point that she made, I really want to hit home on, is the point that for the likes of us dairy beef farmers, and we're only an ever growing number in the country, as more and more people start rearing calves to go down the dairy beef system, is that when we go out to buy our calves off farms, we need the calves to do well, and for the calves to do well, the dairy farmer has to mind them, has to look after them, has to make sure they get their colostrum, get all their shots, get well minded. Otherwise, they don't do for us. They become sick, lame ducks, studs, and they just don't perform. And then for us, we wouldn't go back to a farm that isn't minding their calves. So it's always in the dairy farmer's interests to mind his bull calves like he minds his heifer calves, to make sure the likes of us, the dairy beef farmer, comes back to him on a yearly basis to take his calves, so then he can concentrate on rearing his dairy heifers and not trying to rear a huge number of cattle. So, just to finish off the video, that is where dairy bull calves go. The vast majority here in Ireland end up in the dairy calf to beef system within Ireland. So in 2020 there was just over 143,000 calves exported out of Ireland, which was down in 2019, and that does show the growing trend that there's more of the calves are staying within Ireland, going to the dairy beef system. Also, this year 2021, the price of the dairy bull calf, all the calves actually, is way higher than it's been the last couple of years, which is another sign that there's more and more farmers choosing to go down this route of rearing dairy calf to beef. And I am literally just being swamped by calves here. But that's really it. That's the story of where do dairy bull calves go here in Ireland. The majority of them come to farms like ours that rear them up to beef. But anyways, I've said enough about it. I'm going to leave it at that. Sitting here with all the calves and whatnot. I want to say a big thank you to Emma McCormick for saying the few bits in the video and allowing me to film earlier on the farm she works on. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, you can follow her at Emma Mac Farming. There'll be a link in the description down below and it'll probably appear there as well. A big thank you to her for speaking in the video. It's great to make a video like this and be able to get a dairy farmer's perspective on it as well, and how they look after the calves on their end, as well as me being able to show you what we do on our end. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video before I get eaten alive here by these lads. So please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. If you'd like to see more videos like this, taking a look at myths and just misperceptions about the farming industry and things that I can show on our farm, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm being attacked here. Okay, I'm going to have to finish this. But anyways, if you want to learn more about the dairy calf to beef system here in Ireland, you can follow me here on Farmer Phil. You can subscribe, hit the button down below, and you can have a look at my old videos and keep an eye out for new videos that'll be coming up on our system. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video. As always, videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. That is it for me. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Good luck